Well, hi again, Chris and Lonna. We are back. So to get started today, this is workout number 2, what I call the mini mat basics and beyond. So be prepared with your mat, water, a towel, and or a pillow, a wooden doll, and if that's not available, then how about a broomstick? The wedge, if you happen to have one. If not, we can use a towel. And we're ready to start. So to begin with, you'll be lying down on your back, which is we call supine. We want to start by acknowledging our alignment. So start by bringing your two feet together and then space them a little bit apart where you know that they are in the right alignment. Check to see if your spine and pelvis is in neutral, long neck. Whenever you set yourself up for exercise, always take that moment to know where your body is in space. We begin with the pelvic clocks, which is your 12 and 6. But before we actually begin, we want to get ourselves centered. That means breathing. Bring your arms straight up toward the ceiling with your palms facing each other. We'll use the arms to facilitate the breath. Inhale as the arms open, and use your exhale to bring the arms back. As the arms open, it facilitates a better breath into your back. And as the arms come up, you hopefully feel that on the exhale you can connect to the deeper abdominal muscles and the pelvic floor. We'll do one more set. And you can place your arms down by your side, relaxing the chest, neck, and shoulders. The knee folds. The knee folds are always about checking in to see if you are stabilized through the pelvic lumbar area. Whichever leg you'd like to begin with, you fold the knee up, working from the hip joint, and you bring the foot down, hopefully in the right position. And we'll alternate the knee folds. As always, every motion is riding the breath. You can inhale the knee up, exhale it down, or if it works better for you, to do just the opposite. Regardless, every motion rides the breath. The breath sets the rhythm for the work. You should check in to see that, there's a lot of stability going on through the pelvis. The upper body is relaxed, the neck, the shoulders. And then you can steady yourself out. You'll need your wooden dowel, so if that's handy. We'll start with the dowel straight up toward the ceiling, and the hands should be shoulder width apart. This is shoulder protraction, which means that you're deliberately going to raise the shoulder blades off the mat and then bring them back down, ideally with the lats and without the ribs popping up. We can use an inhale to bring the arms up, an exhale to bring the blades back into the mat. We'll do a couple more. This is always a good little exercise. In fact, remember, sometimes the littlest the exercises, the more valuable they are. And these are the ones we tend to skip. And we'll steady ourselves out. From here, the arms are going to start to go back over the head. We call these rib cage arms because we really want the rib cage to stay in contact with the mat. That pretty much will predict the range of motion. Shoulders stay in the sockets, ribs anchored onto the mat. So each of you will have a different range of motion. And as you continue to do a few more repetitions, you might find that that range of motion continues. And then you'll keep the arms straight up there. Keep them there. And we actually will start some knee folds again. So whichever leg you'd like to start with, you'll breathe again, one breath in and one breath out. To challenge your stability, we'll start to add the arms. As the leg goes down, the arms go back. Now this is an option, so some of you might choose to delete this or create even more challenge for yourself by changing the tempo of the knee folds. And we'll hold this last one up. Then keep the arms in their position, and we go to the leg slide, which means we have a longer lever and much more challenge to keep the connection through the trunk. As the arms and legs go in opposite directions, it's always interesting how that changes things up a little bit. And you can start with one leg, as Chris is doing. And I like the breath. I like the inhale to extend and the exhale to bring it all back. With both legs, always a little more challenge, and you always have the option of doing one leg at a time. And you can rest at this point. Why don't you put your dowel away, just kind of have it close by. And this is where I'd like to use the wedge. Now I like the wedge to be placed right around the shoulder blades. And the reason being is the fact that when the upper body has some sort of a support and you start doing a little bit of an upper body flexion, it allows you to maintain neutral spine. So often with a stiff spine or lack of abdominals, we end up getting a lot of hip flexor into the effort, and that does change the focus of the exercise. And if you do not have the wedge, then you certainly can use a rolled up towel. From here, the hands will be laced deep. They support the base of the skull. Step 1 is to lengthen the neck. Step 2 is to float the head. Step 3 is to do a small curl up. And then you'll release. So you actually inhale and exhale your way there. And the same as you return. Now with the wedge, obviously we're not going all the way back to the mat with the head. And Chris is showing this in a very nice way. Keeping the upper body elevated, take one leg and extend it onto the mat. Hold your position, and we do a little pulsing. So we do it like 3 pulses. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Hold it there, slide the leg back, and we'll go to the other leg. Slide the leg back, and we'll do one more set each side. Well, this is mini mat and beyond. So from here, you can keep your upper body as it is. Fold one knee toward you. There's your knee fold. But then we're going to the leg slide. But you're keeping the knee, you start with the knee elevated. And the leg can stay right on the mat to begin with. Right here. And then you'll use your exhale to fold it back. So you probably can see that we're kind of advancing the exercise. And then as you bring the knee back, you can fold it toward you. We're advancing the exercise even more now. So with the one knee folded up, you'll extend the leg out into the air at a comfortable level, assuring neutral spine, neutral pelvis. Stay on the same side and fold the leg back toward you. And we'll continue with a few more repetitions. Fold the knee, and we'll go to the other side. Same sequence. So you start with the knee folded, extend the leg. This is a comfortable level. And if some of you find that this really, you hook into your hip flexor, then you'll just go right to the floor. Otherwise, bring it right up to the air. Simple but effective. That is the Pilates method, with everything riding on the breath. This last one, keep the knee folded, bring the other knee up to it. This your new starting position. Take one leg out into space and bring it back in and alternate. This is the precursor to the single leg stretch. You can kind of see how we progress the program. And you can change the tempo, alternating the knees. You can mix the breath up a little bit. And fold the knees to you. Release the hands to underneath the knees to release the back. Let the knees be open. You can rock a little bit from side to side and thank your back. This is an act of kindness. You'll roll to one side. You can probably dismiss the wedge, and maybe you'll need a towel for your neck. And you'll be all the way onto your side on the mat. When you're side lying, we still want to honor the neutral position. The knees will be bent at a right angle. The hips are stacked one on top of the other, as are the shoulders. So be aware of your bottom shoulder. The arms are extended straight forward with the hands one on top of the other. The top arm starts to reach out and back. So we begin by opening up the chest, mobilizing the shoulder, and creating a great bit of spinal rotation. Simple, effective, efficient. That's the Pilates method. And I like the breath here too. Inhale and exhale. I want to make a little footnote here. Chris has a broken elbow, and so you might see a little bend in her elbow, but if you can have your arms straight, that would be okay too. All right, and we'll go ahead and transfer to the other side. Now bear in mind, you can always do more repetitions. You know, once you've maybe watched the video a couple of times, you have an idea of sequence, you can always do more repetitions. I particularly like this exercise. It's really it's probably pretty much ideal for almost everybody. And it is just so special for the body. And again, we'll start with the arm reaching back. The idea, of course, is you do some repetitions, you should gain a better range of motion through the shoulder. Such a good little exercise, but we're gonna make a change here. So from here, you'll come up to your hands and knees. Incidentally, I acknowledge that some of you have some joint issues in your hips and knees and will not get to the floor. And if you are on the floor, will have difficulty getting up the floor. So our next workout will acknowledge these particular limitations. So if you have another towel, or take the one you've been using, the hands will be on the towel. It needs to be sliding, has sliding ability. So we go out into some spine extension. What a great exercise. So slide. Now you'll notice again, the tail is up, the spine is long, the ribs are in, and the chest is open, and you exhale with abdominals curling into your lower back. I like to stretch out. I like to inhale as you reach. Make sure the front is buckled up, and you curl and exhale back. Good little exercise, simple to do. Coming back, we'll pause in neutral spine, neutral pelvis. You'll take one leg behind you and tuck the toe. for a calf stretch, and if it's possible, you can really push the heel back and get a nice stretch. And breathe while you're holding positions. Release to the other side. You bring the knee back together, you relax your feet, you come up to your knees, and we'll come up to standing. Now, once you're up off the mat, you want to remember what that felt like, because you had a place of reference. And as always, just like on the reformer, you want to feel where your body is in space. So with the arms, we inhale ourselves up, and exhale the arms down. And we'll do 2 more breaths, always at least 3 breaths to take that energy with you. And thank you, Chris, and thank you, everybody, for allowing us into your homes. And above all else, thank you, Joseph Pilates.